Today, I am going to be letting out a secret. So come close. Come close. Come close. Yes, can you see how alert I am? I want to let out a secret. That secret is the secret of how you can set boundaries without losing anyone. How you can set boundaries without feeling guilty. How you can set boundaries without losing your friends. So come close. Are you there now? Good. All right, let's start. Welcome to the Unboxing Behavior Podcast. This is a space where we talk about our behaviors and how we can learn and grow. Okay? And we are going to be using some powerful tools like the CBT, DBT tools. That's what we're going to be using. So welcome today. My name is Edna. I'm your host. I'm going to be here talking about boundaries, how we can set boundaries. I am a behavioral specialist and a behavioral analyst. I'm a CTRS by training and profession. And so today we are going to be unboxing boundaries. Have you ever said yes to something, to someone, when you really didn't mean it? And afterwards you felt drained, you felt resentful, you felt overwhelmed? Or are you afraid to set boundaries because you might lose someone, you might lose some people? Or you need to set boundaries, but then the guilt that you are feeling just won't let you set those boundaries. Come along with me today. We are going to be talking about how we are going to set those boundaries. Let me take a sip of my tea. Today, we're going to be breaking those circles, okay? In this episode, that is just what we are going to be doing. How to set healthy boundaries without guilt using practical tools from cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and dialectical behavioral therapy, DBT. How are you, my friends? So let's start with what are boundaries? Simply put, boundaries are limits that you set to protect yourself. Those things you do to protect yourself, your time, your energy, and your mental well-being. That is simply boundaries, limits for you. And so why do boundaries feel hard to set? A lot of us have been there, where you know that you're supposed to set these boundaries, but then it feels rather heavy. It's hard for you to set. Let's be honest. That is the truth. A lot of us would have been in those situations where it's not easy for you to set boundaries. Now, some common reasons for that is fear of disappointing people. Another one is fear of having conflict. Another one is fear that you are already ingrained in your people-pleasing habits, and so you don't want to do something else. And then another one is guilt. That feeling of, am I being selfish here? If I say no to someone, if I disagree to do something, am I being selfish here? So those are the common reasons why people don't want to set boundaries. Today, we are going to be looking at boundaries in different perspectives and dimensions. We want to remember one thing. Boundaries does exist on a spectrum. On one end of the spectrum, we have the porous boundary tie. And on the other end, the opposite end, we have the rigid boundaries. And then somewhere in that midpoint, that is where we have the sweet spots, and there exist healthy boundaries. So today, we are going to be breaking down things. Stay with me so you can learn how to set these boundaries without losing people, okay? Think of boundaries as emotional doors. That porous end on the spectrum, think of a door that is wide open. It doesn't shut. It doesn't lock. It's just open. Anyone can just go through that door. Anybody can pass through that door. Anything can walk through that door. That is the porous boundaries we're talking about, where everyone gets access to you. Everyone tells you to do anything, everything. Everyone knows you can do anything, everything for them. And so they come through. You are like a doormat. Everyone walks all over you because your door is wide open. No boundaries whatsoever. That is the porous boundaries on one end. Now, let's move to the extreme, where the door is locked. This door is locked so tight. It is not just shut, it is locked. There are chains, there are padlocks, whatever can be used to put a door locked, tight, reinforced is on that door. No one goes in, no one gets out. Is that what you want? I don't think so. That's on the extreme. Taking a sip of my tea. That is on the extreme. Now come with me. Let's see what somewhere in the midpoint, what we are looking for. We are looking for some balance. We are looking for some stability. So this is where you are not on the porous end. Your door is not wide open. Your door is not tightly shut. You have that free will. Your door could be locked. Your door could be shut. But you are able to decide, I want to open this door. If you take a look at who's knocking on the other side and you're like, okay, I can let them in. This is my friend. This is my loved one. I can let them in. And you open that door. You are also at will to shut the door if you feel this is not what I want at this time. This is not who I want to see and be with at this time. This is not what I want to do at this time. I can shut my door. You can shut that door and you can open at your own discretion. Remember, boundary is a limit that you are setting to protect you. So you have to think about, how am I protecting me? So we are going to be talking about some things that you need to do, because the truth is boundaries are essential for your stability and for your growth. So let's try to make this practical. We have different types of boundaries. So we are going to unpack it today. The first boundary that we want to talk about is emotional boundaries. Now, with emotional boundaries, we all as humans express emotions at different times, situations, and circumstances. We do. And as social beings, for the most part, we look for a shoulder that we can cry on. We look for people that will listen to us. We look for people that will advise us. We look for people that will validate us. We look for people that will give us some confirmation on what we're going to do. You know, we look for people for different reasons. And at these various times that we are looking for people, that we are trying to connect with people, we are also seeking their emotions. So imagine that I am there. I have friends, I have family members, and everyone is coming to me with one form of problem or the other. And I am expressing these emotions with them. The one that feels that they should be angry, I am angry with them. The one that feels sad, I am sad with them. The one that is happy, I am also happy and joyful with them. All of these things are happening. My emotions are also flaring up in different directions. Boundaries here is seeking that you choose where you are going to be pouring and gifting your emotions. For example, someone comes with this very strong emotion of jealousy and is expressing it to you and is wanting you to express the same jealous emotion to someone you don't have a problem with. Are you going to just pour that jealous emotion in, invest that emotion? This person hasn't done anything to you. You want to set your boundaries. You can't just pick up fights and throw your emotions anywhere, anyhow, because someone else is doing that. You might be afraid that, okay, if I don't express this same jealousy, they're not going to be my friend. That is where you let them know, my friend, in as much as I love you, I want to be with you, I am not going to be expressing these same emotions with you because I have no problems with this person. And make them reevaluate their relationships with either that person or with you. So that is with emotional boundaries. Same boundaries. We all have the same time, 24 hours in a day, 30, 31, 28, 29 days in a month, 4 weeks in a month, 365, 366 days in a year. We all do. So you need to set your boundaries to protect your time, what you do with your time, how you use your time. So you don't want to let people just come in, call you. Maybe you have something to do at home and someone is calling you, hey, can we just go to the mall and hang out? You didn't plan to do that. Even if that is a nice thing to do. You know, you're helping to connect socially with people, but that is not your priority at that time. Can you be able to say, hey, friend, I would have loved to do this with you. However, I have other things to do. And can we reschedule to do this again? Yes, And you are saying it not out of bitterness, not out of anger, but out of love. You are telling your friend or your loved one that, hey, my time right now is scheduled for something else. I will not be able to run off with you to do what you are intending to do. Can we reschedule? Can we plan to do this another time that is convenient for me? Because everyone is looking out for themselves. So you have to also look out for you. Now, the next boundary we're going to be talking about is physical boundaries. With physical boundaries, it could go in various dimensions, but we're just going to keep it intact. Now, physical refers to me, myself, my immediate space. So how do I set boundaries? Now, when I am with people, I should be able to know that I will give people their personal space. There are some people who like to be touched. So they are like huggers, shakers, but there are some people who don't like that. That physical contact with people, they don't want it. They don't like it. So if, for example, I'm a hugger and I see people, sometimes I could meet someone the first time and I want to give you a hug. And the other person says, no, I don't want it. I should be able to respect that boundary there and then. No, they don't want it. And sometimes with physical boundaries, circumstances, situations, even cultures can set physical boundaries. Ask me why. You all remember during COVID, yes, during COVID, physical boundaries were enforced. They were. When everyone was like, you have to be 6 feet apart. Where I was working at the hospital on the behavioral unit, we had to practically use blue tapes to mark X 6 feet apart, where we kept chairs for patients to sit 6 feet apart, because that was the law at that time, or policy, that people should not be enclosed altogether. So we kept patients 6 feet apart. Even when we were in a room doing group therapy, we kept patients that far, 6 feet apart. Everyone wore masks. And for us health workers, if we were going to be dealing with patients that had COVID, we were going to have our PPE fully donned from top to bottom. So physical boundaries, that could be a situation where physical boundaries were demanded. There are some cultures around the world that also put in place some physical boundaries. For example, in some countries that express certain religion and culture, you don't touch someone just like that, not even a handshake. You are prohibited from doing that. You don't hug another man's wife. You don't touch another man's wife or daughter if you are not related to them. So that is a physical boundary right there. And then there are some people, due to some conditions that they have, they don't like to be touched. So you want to respect those physical boundaries too. We have intellectual boundaries. With intellectual boundaries, this also goes in different dimensions. The good thing is, for some organizations, some institutions, some industries, they have set intellectual boundaries. So things like plagiarism, things like copyrights, there are laws and policies that protect people intellectual abilities and capacities and all that. So they have put those laws and policies in place. If you do anything, you will be prosecuted for that. But for me and you, we should also have intellectual boundaries where what I am doing right now should belong to me. No one can just steal it and do something with it. If I'm having a conversation with a friend and I say something, and next that friend takes that thing and tells it to someone else and is claiming that this is their thoughts, this is what they said, they have no intellectual boundary. Unfortunately, they don't. So you don't want to just say things that someone has said, reporting it as if it was you. I don't want to do that. So we want to have those intellectual boundaries too. Another kind of boundary that is very, very problematic for people to set boundaries around is material boundaries. With material boundaries, we're talking about physical things, properties. Money is in there. It could be your clothing. It could be anything tangible that you have. These are material things. We need to set boundaries on these things too. For example, you won't just let anyone walk into your house walk into your bedroom and lay on your bed and sleep in there. That's why you have doors and bells. So before someone comes into your house, you have to know who they are. You have to allow them to be in your space. But then there should be some boundaries. If you don't want someone taking your piece of clothing or jewelry or anything that you really like and you don't want people sharing with you, you could tell them, hey, you could have this, not that. Let's say someone is going to buy some building materials from Lowe's or Home Depot or one of those stores. And then someone comes to you, hey, can I borrow your truck? And then they take your truck and they go and they get all the things and then they come back, they keep your truck for you. And then you want to use your car and then you open and the gas is all gone. You have to refuel your gas, or that you take a look at where they loaded everything and it's all messed up. They didn't clean it. They didn't keep it tidy. You have to set those boundaries before you begin to let people run all over you. Maybe as you're giving them the keys, you have to reinforce and let them know, hey, my gas tank is full. Will it be okay if you fill it some after you use? Or make sure you clean when you finish. Set those boundaries so that people will realize. People don't just come take you for a run. I know it is hard to set those boundaries. It is hard, but we want to try from something small. Are we making sense? Let's go. The next set of boundaries that we're going to talk about is energy boundary. I know some people will not even think that this is a boundary that exists. Energy, your energy. You have to set boundaries on how people use your energy. It kind of ties in with the initial boundaries we talked about, emotional boundary. It kind of ties in with that, how people drain your emotions. Do you just allow people to drain your energy? It could be your physical energy, it could be your mental energy, it could be your emotional energy. Do you just let people drain those energies from you? So sometimes you need to set boundaries. For example, after a day of going to work, driving, navigating traffic and all of that, coming back home, you want to rest. You want to relax. Maybe that is the time when you have finished having your bath, you want to coil into your sheets and just maybe read a book, sip some tea, or listen to music, watch your favorite show on TV. Boom, someone is calling you. And you look at the phone. Maybe it's that friend. I'm not saying we shouldn't have friends. It's that one friend that, when you start to talk, it's going to take like an hour, 2 hours. And you don't have that kind of energy. You don't. You could set those boundaries. I'm not saying ignore people. I mean, you could pick up the phone and you could say, hey, friend, I had a long day at work. I am tired. I just want to relax in bed. Can I call you tomorrow during my break when I have some time? Can I call you? You're setting boundaries without losing anyone, without pushing people away. You are setting boundaries. Now, the last boundary type we're going to be talking about is sexual. This, my friends, is very, very important. Intimacy. This is where the rule of let your yes mean yes and your no means no remains. And every party should respect that. Even if you are in a relationship with someone and you want to be intimate, and that person says, I don't want it, you want to respect that no. Don't say, oh, that's the way they do. They will say no, but they mean yes. No, don't go there. Let your yes mean yes. If they say yes, go ahead. If they say no, let it be no. And this, we are talking about people in a relationship. If you're not in a relationship, please don't even go there. Maintain your lane. Please maintain your path. Don't do anything that will cross that boundary. Don't go there. Oh. I'm just telling you from the abundance of my heart. Don't go there, because you will dance to the tune of a law on earth. You will. So that is a boundary that we want to strictly keep. There's no in or out with that one. Yes is yes, no is no. Moving on, we are going to be looking at some cognitive behavioral therapy tools that we can use. One of those tools, I know that we have talked about how hard it is to keep boundaries or to set boundaries. And sometimes the fear is what moves us to not set boundaries. Remember, with cognitive behavioral therapy, we're talking about how your thoughts affect your feeling and how those feelings kind of drive or push your behavior. Now, if your thought is, if I say no, they won't like me. If I say no, I'm going to lose them. Your feeling will become that of guilt or anxiety. It will push that behavior of doing things that you don't want to for people. So one tool that we are going to be using right now is reframing your thoughts or guilt. Reframing, we can even say reframing guilt. What this does is ask yourself questions like, why should I be guilty? I didn't do anything wrong. I was only trying to protect me. I'm protecting myself. I'm protecting my energy. I'm protecting my physical space. I'm protecting my emotions. I'm protecting my material things. So I don't have to be feeling guilty. And if somebody uses that to blackmail or intimidate you, then at that point, you also want to reevaluate that relationship. Is it that it is only when I give that we are happy in this relationship? Is it just that it is when I do things to make them happy that they are staying? You have to reevaluate your relationship. If that is the case, challenge those thoughts that you're having about guilt. And that will shift things drastically. That challenge you give to your thoughts will help reduce your guilt, and it will build confidence in you. It will. Now, and the next tool we are going to be using, that is a DBT skill. It is the dialectical behavioral therapy skill known as Dear Man. We have talked about this skill before, so we are revisiting it again. It is a skill that will help you build being assertive. So we are going to quickly go over this acronym, Dear Man. It is a powerful boundary setting tool. The D there is to describe the situation. Please try and describe the situation that you find yourself in to yourself and see if things make sense to you. If you say no or if you say yes, what makes sense more? Please do express how you feel. If you don't feel good about what they're asking, tell them politely, respectfully, express how you feel. Now, you also need to assert what you need. You need to assert what you need. Because sometimes it shouldn't be about what everyone is wanting from you, what everyone is asking of you. You have needs too. So express those needs. The R there is for reinforce the benefit. Reinforce, if there are benefits, reinforce them. The N is for being mindful. You want to be mindful here about everything. And that is where you want to also be mindful of how you communicate your boundaries to the other person. You don't have to be bitter. You don't have to be angry. You don't have to yell. You don't have to shout. You don't have to ignore. But you want to be mindful. Choose your words, your tone of voice, your body language, your attitude when you are expressing your needs and setting those boundaries. And the last letter there, N, if need be, you want to kind of negotiate that, okay, I could do this for you at this time. It's not convenient for me to do this right now, but at some other time, I could do. That's some negotiation. And a reasonable person would hear you, will listen to you. So those are some things that we want to bring together for this unboxing of boundaries. And you want to, if you have not set boundaries before, you want to start small. Sometimes you could even tell people, let me think about it, before you say yes, instead of just going to say yes. Sometimes you could delay responses. Yeah. Sometimes you could practice saying no in low stakes situations. So situations that are not too demanding, you can, begin to say no instead of just waiting until it's something really big. It could be, please, can you bring this for me? And the person is closer. No, you get it. Those are low stakes. So you want to practice with those small things, okay? Because boundaries are like muscles, muscles all over our body, including our brains. The more you use them, the stronger they become. So flex those boundary muscles. And the more you flex those boundary muscles, the stronger you become, okay? So I want you to begin to set small boundaries. At first, people may resist you. People may feel what is going on. You may even feel uncomfortable. But over time, believe me, my friends, you will feel more in control in your relationships, you will become healthier and your mood will be stabilized and lots of good things will begin to happen when you begin to flex those boundary muscles. So here is a reminder I want to bring to you. Boundaries are not rejections. You are not rejecting anyone. They are protections. Okay? You are protecting yourself. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to say no. So I would want you to try setting a small boundary this week. Try to set a small boundary and follow through with that. Don't change your mind. Set those boundaries. Be comfortable with yourself, okay? And notice how you feel about that. And I would implore everyone to think about things that they would want to do with certain boundaries, because I believe this is going to be a series that we will take on. We might have a part 2, a part 3. So please, in the comment section, go there, engage with me. Let me know what things you would want to see me do with boundaries. Let me know what areas you are having challenge in setting boundaries, and we will come back to revisit those particular areas. So I want you to share this episode to someone who will need this or hear this, and follow this podcast for more tools on mental health, behavior change, and growth. And before we finally leave, as we do on this podcast, we have talked a lot. I want you to pause. If it's okay for you to do that, pause. Join me in taking a deep breath in and exhale. Thank you, dear friends, for joining me to unbox today's topic. It's heavy, but we did it. And I want you to begin to set those tiny, small boundaries and make those wins come through. See you in the next episode. Bye.